National Basketball Association. Awesome Christmas slate tomorrow. With a caveat, we did watch yesterday this Bucks-Knicks matchup already, so it's kind of lame in that we get this thing again. And the current lines as we sit, we'll go through some of these and see if we can find some distinct advantages. Tough part about this, Pam, is that early on, because they don't play until tomorrow, we won't get updated injury reports for a little bit here. So whether or not some guys are going to pop up on the injury report, whether we're going to see this, is going to be a little bit of an issue. We only have one listed injury report right now. And, of course, it's pretty big questionable here. Jimmy Butler, who's missed the last 2 games for the Miami Heat. But Bucks and Knicks at the start of the slate right now, odds have it as Bucks minus 3.5 with a total of 241.5. This total has moved up since about an hour and a half ago. We recorded Harvard Handicappers this morning at about 8 a.m., and that total was at 240.5. And one of the things that we had discussed was betting that game over, especially at that total of 240.5. We just watched this matchup yesterday, Pam. Market said, oh, wait, no, 238.5. It's way too low. We're going to bet this thing up to 244. And stayed under the total, but still, like the market thought that 239.5 is a little too high or too low. So now all of a sudden you get this thing to open up at like 240.5, 239.5, and I'm like, well, what's happening? Why aren't we moving? We're slowly moving toward the over. Wouldn't be surprised to see if we get this to go over. Again, some really high-scoring affairs between these two, and not like a really strong thread of connection between them, other than the Bucks have shot over 50% in the 2 matchups from 3 that they have faced New York. That generally would mean that there is some regression at some point would tend to happen. Here's the problem. You can go 3 games without regression hitting. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the market's getting this right and pushing this thing over, and I do think the Bucks would probably be the side in a matchup where the Knicks really don't seem to have an answer for their offense.
I'll take your word.
All right. I thought you had a trend. No, I thought you had some trends or something.
Not yet. Not for the Bucks, Knicks.
Okay. All right. All right. Golden State Warriors, Denver Nuggets. A 6.5-point spread in favor of Denver. Total of 233.5. So I will say this. Every single thing that I have in terms of notes, numbers, analysis, handicap would tell me that this is too high in favor of the Denver Nuggets. The Warriors are playing much better. Their offense has gotten better without Draymond Green in the lineup. The turnarounds of Klay Thompson have been legitimate. Same thing with Andrew Wiggins. He's been playing so much better. This is a team that is improving as the games go along, Pam, and I think the market might be still a little too low on that squad. Now, again, no injury reports out, so don't know if that is going to be something that does transpire. We want to see if everybody's going to be available for this game. But my initial numbers here, my ratings for a Warriors team that has started to turn things around, starting to cover numbers, is that they are not, because home court's been worth about like 2.5 points. You up it for Denver because they're very good. They have an inherent home court advantage playing in altitude. You want to make it 3.5. I don't know if Denver's a full 3 points better than Golden State on a neutral, but I do think that this number is somewhat high, and it's one of those weird things where I'm like, man, I don't know. I think I'm missing something here because I think the immediate draw is to the Golden State Warriors plus 6.5 in this spot against the Denver Nuggets on Christmas.
Well, there are a couple of trends to back Denver and even a player prop that you could consider. Denver is 11-4 with Jamal Murray and Jokic on the court this season. Denver is also 11-2 at home this season with a net rating of 11.5. Mm-hmm. A player prop that could come into fruition is also, is it Jokic? Jokic. He's averaged a triple-double versus the Warriors since last year.
Yes.
So that could probably be the angle to target.
Well, because that's the thing. They don't have any true physical matchup, and not many teams do, but the Warriors lack a real true center presence. So, like, Kevon Looney gives up quite a bit of size to Nikola Jokic. They can go small, and which is why I also think it's going to be pretty interesting to see what this total does, because it's just been sitting there at 233.5. And this is a team that can go small, spread Denver out, force Jokic to guard out along the perimeter, and I think really tear up this defense, which is a really solid defense. However, when you force guys out of position like that, you can't have a lot of success. Golden State has done that to Denver in the past. On the flip side, as you mentioned, Jokic averaging he's averaged a triple-double against everybody, but he's been absolutely incredible. They don't have a true matchup for him. I actually think 233.5, despite the fact that both of these teams are pretty slow in terms of pace. Since Draymond's been out, the Warriors' pace has slowed down. The Nuggets are already a slow team. 233.5 is kind of low for 2 slower-paced teams, but I don't think there is a match for either team defensively to stymie the other's offense. So I think this is going to be a fun game. I think it should go back and forth. I very much lead toward betting this thing over 233.5, but the market has been not moving, and I think part of that is there has been no injury report, and you want to make sure that everybody's going to be available because we know that there have been some tricky things here when it comes to the NBA and injury availability. Next up, Boston Celtics on the road against Los Angeles Lakers. So this was a simpatico play for the Harvard Handicapper guys. I think the Lakers are the side here against the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are, and this is always the part you want to look for in these games, right? It's scheduling spots. It's where they at. This is why there was this stretch where during the in-season tournament, right, there were so many days where these teams were taking off. And like there was no games, there were starts and stops, so teams are getting rest. And at this portion of the season, Pam, you're really looking for scheduling spots to take advantage of. And this could be one here for Boston. Boston is on the fourth game of a 4-game West Coast road trip. They have been playing quite a bit of intense basketball. They just played the Los Angeles Clippers. They're not, there's no travel involved. They're already in Los Angeles, so that's fine. But they have been playing some pretty intense basketball. They've been winning quite a few games as well. But the Lakers are catching the Celtics team in the midst of a West Coast road trip on Christmas. They got to play in Oklahoma City on the 23rd. They're back here. LeBron James and Anthony Davis more than likely are going to pop up as questionable, but LeBron's been questionable in every single game and has only missed 2. I think if you get LeBron James, if you get Anthony Davis, the way they've changed their starting lineup, I think the Lakers are catching the Celtics at a pretty good spot here, at a primetime spot on Christmas. I think the Lakers are the side catching 3. So waiting for confirmation on the injury report, but if we're getting LeBron James and Anthony Davis, Lakers are the play on Christmas.
Well, and similar to other leagues, if we like an underdog, then we tend to also lean towards the total. So the total right now is 234.5, and the Lakers under is 10-3 at home this season.
Yeah, they're a good defensive team. They play really good defense that tends to extend out to home as well, and I think that would make some sense. The total is up. Let's see. I think have we bet this? Has this been bet up? I lost my odds here for a second. 234.5, and yeah, pretty much the open was 234.5. Now I'll say this. This is 1-2. We go to the next game. Philly on the road against Miami. Jimmy Butler questionable to play for the Heat. He's missed the last 2. You can hold out. If Jimmy Butler ends up playing, this will swing back to Miami Heat minus 1.5 or so. But this is one that screams to me, what are we missing here? The Philadelphia 76ers, Pam, are 20-8 straight up, 20-8 against the spread. The market has been insanely low on this team. Joel Embiid in the month of December is averaging nearly 40 points a game. He has been absolutely unstoppable. Bam Adebayo is not a physical match for Joel Embiid in any way, shape, or form. You might, again, confirm whether or not these guys are going to play too. We want to see what the injury report's going to look like. But the Heat as well, one of the more overvalued teams in the NBA. Market keeps thinking it's this team that made the run to the NBA Finals. Just not the case. I think that this is one where the 76ers come in, get a really strong win over the Miami Heat, can cover that number. Obviously, he's 1.5-point favorites. I think it's also a candidate to potentially go over the total. They got personnel here in Miami that could take advantage of what Philly likes to do on defense, but I don't think they're stopping Philly's offense. This thing's going to be great. I think this is one of the better games on the board, especially if Miami's going to play, but give me Philly here on the road. Any trends?
Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra, 8-0 on Christmas, 4-0 without LeBron.
8-0 straight up?
Yes.
Look at that. I know that matters in a game where it's a 1.5-point spread, but I love the 76ers team. I also might be biased because I do have a 76ers futures ticket that is looking better by the day. Let's go, Philly.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.